with AVRL.
So you ready, man? You went over the Shock roster. You went over the O2 Blast roster.
Yeah, they're good to go. Is there anything you want to tell the people? Because obviously you know way more about these players than I do. Is how good is Proper? I guess let's just say that.
How good?
How good is he?
So for all the uninitiated, at this point, if you haven't heard of the name Proper, you've probably been living under a bit of a rock. He's probably the most talked about player. I'm gonna say that I think I probably was the person to push that ball down the hill initially.
Everyone just keeps saying that Proper's going to be the Rookie of the Year, and I think they're just reading off your tweet word for word at this point.
Here's the thing, Scott. People need to remember that I actually decide who gets the awards every single year.
Yeah.
So if I say this person's going to be MVP, they just become MVP. That's
just
how it is.
Works, right?
It is, and I get commissioned for that as well. So I'm getting paid, which is great. So I'm actually Proper's agent, so I'm getting a cut out of this. So
you're saying in 2019, if I had sent you enough PayPal money, I could have been the MVP of the 2019 season?
I mean, look, anything could have happened. Anything could happen. I think you could play this year. I think if you played this year, you just put a little bit under the table for me. I start tweeting about you, Reddit blows up, and then boom, you get all the votes.
There it is.
That's how you do it.
All right.
No, so to answer that question seriously though, Proper is to me there's two players I think in the history of Overwatch that I've seen that are seriously unbelievably flexible to the point where I think they actually just do play every single hero in the DPS pool and to a high proficiency as well. One of those players is the current reigning MVP Leave, and the other player is Proper, a guy from Contenders that most people probably haven't even seen because most fans probably only have seen Overwatch League. So yeah, and so he has in my mind a lot of Leave skill sets in terms of major flexibility, unbelievable flexibility in terms of what he can play, and then on top of that, everything he does play is extremely high level, to a very, very high degree. It's unbelievable. So it's like a Korean Leave clone. Is why I'm so hyped about him. All
right, so now I'm going to put you on the spot because we were having this discussion. Where do you put him? If you just had to have some arbitrary place, obviously we haven't seen him play in the league, where would you put him? Because we were saying Lip is probably better than Proper right now. At this moment, where would you put him in the current rank of players? Where's Prophet compared to Proper?
You have to talk about, what is the...
just what your heart tells you. Because this is obviously just completely made up. And just
Okay, so if I'm building a team, I would right now legitimately, and this sounds fucked up, I would probably legitimately pick Proper over Lip, which is crazy.
Whoa,
that's a crazy statement.
Okay, that's a crazy statement. You are absolutely fucking lying to me. You are not picking up Proper over Lip. Wait, did you say Lip or Leave? Just confirming.
I said Lip. You're not even gonna let me explain first. Let me explain.
Okay, sorry, I'll calm down. Sorry.
The reason why is because for a new, and the context is also Overwatch 2, because I'm looking for stream started.
Yeah, it started.
I'm looking for extreme flexibility with high degree of what you can play and how good that is for a new game, bunch of new heroes, unknown meta. I want somebody that I know that can pick up something really quickly and just be fucking amazing.
But is that not what Lip is? Lip just we're oh, can he play Tracer? And then he just was oh, he's one of the best Tracers in the world.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I haven't seen. No, hang on a second. But what is Lip's hero pool doesn't extend beyond the standard kind of hit scans. Maybe it flexes into the Tracer a little bit. Some Hans are obviously as well, right? But when you look at someone like Proper, he's literally played and started in whatever the most critical DPS hero for particular meta is. So for example, when it was heavy Echo meta in Korea, he was a starting Echo player for his team. When it was heavy Ashe meta in Korea, he was also the starting Ashe player for his team. He's actually been a starting player and the best player, I think, in Korea, in Contenders Korea at the time, on both hit scan and projectile and everything in between and trace and all of that.
So you're saying you like it because he can play Echo and these other ones that we're not sure if Lip can play because Fleta fits that role.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's because Fleta Shock never has to do that because Fleta can just do, Fleta is their flex guy, right? So Lip doesn't have to be that. So he's never been tested in that regard. But how good is Lip's Genji? Like, we don't know. But
Yeah.
Proper's played Genji. In a Genji meta, Proper would be your Genji player if, like, you know, if he was the best fit for it. And he typically has been on O2 Blast. Like, you know, Pelican played around Proper. When everyone knows how good Pelican
We're
is.
in a completely different game.
Our
at this point,
reigning
right?
Rookie of the Year, correct? We all know that Pelican's fucking nutty.
Yeah.
But when they played together, Pelican fit his hero pool around Proper. Proper gets first dibs on what he wants to play and what the team thinks they need. Proper's your #1 guy, and then Pelican plays the other hero that's just like, well, what do we need to put around it?
Yeah.
That's how they kind of did that.
Oh my god. Dude, Citra wearing the cow shirt that he wore, I think, for all of 2021. This is the only jacket that he has in his closet at this point.
A cow sweater.
Yeah.
I just noticed there's an actual cow on his like right shoulder as well, and I was like,
Yeah, he's had this thing forever.
I can see the cows now. I can actually see them. Is Johnny coming?
Yeah, I don't know. I called and I haven't heard anything, so maybe he's coming eventually. I can't believe they got Valorant casters for this. This is crazy.
Dude, I can't. Do you guys, chat? Do you guys think these Valorant casters will be good at Overwatch? I have no idea. I hope they're really good.
Yeah, I hope they're good.
If you guys follow Valorant, tell me if these Valorant casters are good.
Turn up stream, yeah. I will say, I'm not gonna have it too loud. If you guys want to hear Brendan's sideshow and you guys want to hear everything on the cast, we're just gonna talk about random shit.
Brendan's room, because Brendan usually streams with his backdrop.
So if you want to watch, listen to it, then go check that out.
We're actually just gonna get in.
Oh, we're just fucking going. All right.
Sam. Okay, so my ass chat me who was gonna play the other tank for Shock, and I was like, probably Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing goats.
They're playing goats. Oh my god. Don't worry, I'm a professional. I've been doing history of Overwatch of this. Super's just better.
Super's just better. Well, Zarya was also Proper was the Zarya player during Goats with O2. So
who was Proper playing for back in Goats, like back in 2019?
He was playing with O2 Blast, and their main tank was Kaiser. That was actually Kaiser's best meta. Yeah, I think if there was one meta in 1 year that Kaiser should have been an OWL, should have been season 2. His Ryan in Goats was fucking crazy.
I was actually talking about him recently of like that one player who you're like, who's this guy that like people never heard of who never got a shot? And I feel like Kaiser was that. Like he was kind of like
probably, yeah.
He was kind of like that, like the suit. What the fuck? That was an ad. It was like he was kind of like the Reinhardt one. He was like the Korean Super in a way, right? Like with how he did shit.
He's definitely Ryan is definitely his hero, and he was his knowledge and how to play Ryan in the Goats was really unmatched. I think they would have probably. What's going on? Oh, that's a shatter.
There's a shatter.
Maybe Super is just better. You're right. Super's just better.
Okay, Super's the best Goats Reinhardt in the game, right? Like,
how fun is it to watch Violet Lucio though? That's a bit of a kick.
No, don't get me started. People are like, I'm like, they need to pick up a main spot. People are like, Violet can play Lucio, and I'm like, did you watch Violet play Lucio? I watched it. It wasn't really. It ain't it.
So Pelican played the Brig in O2 Blast. I don't know if this is BM for me to say. I don't know if you would even agree with me, but like in my mind, there's two types of DPS players in your team. There's a Zarya player and then there's the Brig player.
Yeah.
So I kind of categorize them. And in O2 Blast, Proper's definitely the Zarya player.
Yeah, you're like that guy's like, does he need to aim and like kill everything? Yeah, he's the Zarya player, right? And the other one's like the support guy.
Jimmy just got a slam as well. That's what I'm saying. Is like when Pelican and Proper played together on the same team, Pelican was your Brig, Proper was your Zarya. That's what you're looking at.
Yeah. Alright, wait, so for context, because I honestly don't know many of the new players on O2 Blast. Do you think O2 Blast is going to be like the #1 team in Korea again? And like, who are these guys? Like, for people who haven't watched.
I mean, looking at the roster so far, Talon was their closest rival, and their roster doesn't look as good this year compared. I think it's a lot of these like quote-unquote newer talents have to kind of prove themselves to me.
Yeah.
So he's saying is like by far the best player on O2 Blast now. He was the guy rivaling in a way Proper.
Yeah.
If he's
he's 17, right? He'll be in the league next year, right?
100%. Yeah. And he'll be one of those guys competing for Rookie of the Year next year, because he was one of the few people that I felt like was mechanically on Proper's level or close to Proper's level in last year's contenders, but he's just underage.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it down.
And now he's been picked up by O2 Blast, who clearly are just like, well, we got to get this guy, you know?
Yeah.
He's the next dude. Max is.
I was trying to find the balance, but I couldn't find it. I'm just gonna turn it down.
He should be, you know, next in line as well for an off-tank position somewhere, or just now tank position, I guess. Heavily talked about, very good player, underage. But they have a lot of like Probe is their like he's like their development player. So it's funny because Contenders is already like a development league, right? So they're like development teams, but they have development academies as well. Sometimes they have their own development players. And Probe's been kind of sitting on the bench of O2 Blast for the longest time. Hadn't really had a shot.
I was looking at like a bunch of the players and I'm like, they've all been on O2 Blast. They like have a lot of these players just been on the bench, just like hiding behind the players that are now being promoted. Really. Just Probe? Okay.
Just Probe. Jimbin and Max are returning players that were on the starting lineup.
Right, okay.
Aiden and Ho1 are new. I've seen Ho1 somewhere else before. I've seen Aiden somewhere else before as well, but not hugely impressive or like standout. But that's what I'm saying. Like these are the new prospects that kind of have to prove themselves in the next wave.
Yeah. How good do you think the Shock are going to be this year? Like straight up, like if you were just putting some arbitrary power rankings right now, are you putting them in the top 3, top 5, lower?
Global or it's just NA?
Let's go global, right? Like because it's arbitrary anyway, right?
3 be hard, man. Because you got Glad, Shanghai, Chengdu, who all look unbelievable. Dallas as well. Like there's so much competition for top 3.
And that's the thing it feels like I'm disrespecting people. Like I was trying to like place like Atlanta, and I'm like, I think they're gonna be really good, but then I'm like, but where do I put them? Like I feel like I'm like top 8, but that seems disrespectful. But that's really good this season because everyone's so good, right? Like,
yeah.
Hello?
Yo, what's up, Johnny?
Oh, Jonathan.
Is it live?
Yeah, we're live.
It's
They're playing goats.
They're playing goats?
Yeah, they're playing goats. And yeah, like they're not playing seriously or anything, but yeah, they're playing goats first round.
Sam's
Wait,
playing Diva.
I don't know.
Apparently they had 3 different matches or 3 different games, right?
But yeah, as I was saying, we're just going to be talking about random shit, and we're gonna, less about the game. If you want to watch the game and listen to Josh, go watch the main stream. We're just going to be kicking the shit and talking about stuff.
YouTube. It's a premiere.
I'm looking forward to seeing him progress in a comp that's not goats. You know, looking forward to seeing a little bit later.
I gotta change my stream title now that Johnny's arrived. Here's Johnny.
Johnny, are you disappointed you never got to play goats?
Wait your turn. Yeah. Wait and watch the VOD.
I mean, I kind of did get to play goats.
You gotta watch all of this actually.
Not in 2019, but wasn't there even some goats in like 2018?
Towards the end of 2018, like
the
World Cup and stuff like that. Oh, did you play? Yeah, we played against each other, right? Yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah.
Bit of an early positioning advantage here.
I don't know. I hated goats, so probably not.
Yeah. It's kind of stupid, right? Like, I feel like it's only fun if you're owning. Every other time, it was just straight up not having a good time.
Yeah, but also it's gonna sound weird. I like playing Ryan when it's like dive comps. I don't like playing Ryan as much when I'm like in a
2016 Reinhardt specialist.
Yeah.
Didn't you play? No, I played Torb in that World Cup.
Bumper cars,
but that's because we'll play
I hate playing bumper car.
Korea.
Yeah, you just knock each other around and you pretend you take damage.
I just like to. I'm one of those apparently weird people that like to see shooting in my shooting games.
I actually put it on 1080p. Let me reduce it. Let's
Very controversial.
No, the quality's just bad.
I didn't enjoy goats.
Like I don't know if you guys just can't see it, but like
in my shooting game.
I don't know if it's just my stream or what's going on.
Any cool highlights in these goat comp yet?
Nah, they're just playing goats, so it's like you know how it be. It's like everyone's just running their faces into each other.
We're just sitting here chilling, waiting for them to play something else.
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Still waiting for it, bro.
I'm watching Violent Lucio right now and being like, okay.
Yeah. Johnny, my chat and I were watching the Hangzhou Plat Chat episode. You're funny, man. I enjoyed what you were saying. Like,
what do you mean?
you got 3 people just like Josh is just shitting on Hangzhou.
Wait, Josh was shitting on Hangzhou, saying they were gonna be bad.
Yeah, he was. Oh. And then the camera goes to you, Johnny, and then Johnny's like, "I gotta carry the load, boys." Like,
I love it. I mean, I'm probably overly optimistic, but
I think you're right. I think the Guangzhous and the Hangzhous are gonna finally turn that shit around.
Guangzhou? No, I said they're gonna come last.
Hey, me and Avril were talking, and we're on the Guangzhou hype train.
I think Krong's coming back, boys.
Yeah.
Krong is coming back in a big way.
Molly's coming back.
He's ready.
Oh, there's so much coke.
MTD?
Everyone's like, oh, but Rio. I'm like, bro, you don't even have to see Rio.
Yeah,
You can just bench the whole time. You're gonna see Krong. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Rio. Krong's gonna play the whole time. It's fine.
Okay, let me dish this out for you, AVRL, okay? I'll put you on the spot, okay?
Go on.
What if Choice One develop DPS line?
Keep going.
You're not even talking about Eileen though, who's like a boss. Sorry, you go.
What about that DPS line?
What if you put one of those guys on tank?
Why? Why would you? You have Krong. Why would you? What?
You know, it 5v5 probably going to be a very mechanically important game. I think we'll see some DPS players on
Only if it's Xayah. I can only imagine if it's kind of like Goats-esque and it's like everyone plays Xayah.
The K on Zarya, sure. Also,
Yeah.
Super just solo shadowed Max's baby diva. I can see what. I can see Washington putting
was
Decay on
just
Zarya.
disrespectful.
Yes, I can see that, but not for Guangzhou.
All right.
I think you got Krong. Like, I think Krong has shown that he is mechanically good enough to play like any tank. I agree that like if it was just Rio, I would be afraid for the team. But the fact that they got Rio and Krong, like Rio can just be like, in a world in which Wrecking Ball meta becomes a thing, Rio, you're ready. Other than that, let Krong do the business, right?
Krong's ready to fuck.
Yeah.
You can't wrong the Krong.
I feel like
Can't go wrong with the Krong.
I feel like everyone just underrates Guangzhou because of how bad their backline was last season and how it just like that had like such a trickle down effect for the rest of the team.
I mean, are you saying Unique is gonna be like some revolutionary main sport? Molly? Do you
I think that's a good backline.
are you high on Molly?
Yeah, I'm high on Molly. I love Molly. It really gets me going, honestly.
Yeah.
It really gets me going. Sorry.
I think the league has done a good job of distributing Molly. I mean, we've had him on 3 teams now. You know, widely distributed Molly.
Well, because I remember it was in 2020.
As far as I know, they've been successful too. So
It was in 2020, right? Where Molly, like, was it Jonak who tweeted about how good Molly was when he was playing for, who's he playing for? He was on Chengdu in 2020? I think it was Chengdu,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was
and
Chengdu,
he was really good. Like, especially on the Ana, I feel like he, like, absolutely held his things. I feel like people have just, like, discredited him and forgot about him because he just sat on the bench for the Shanghai Dragons. But, like, you know, any other flex support would sit on the bench for the Shanghai Dragons as well.
no, you're right.
Yeah.
Kisano actually was good. Yeah.
I mean, Bebe is gonna see 0 game time, right?
I mean, Bebe is the Molly of 2022.
Bebe's there for the free ring this year, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to sit next to Who Are You, and they're just going to both hang out, and Who Are You's going to be like, first time. Just
Bro, can you imagine?
rubbing his
Who are
ring.
you? Who are you is about to be a back-to-back Overwatch League champion playing like fucking 0 games.
He's giving Hureg a run for his money right now.
He's like about to be a 2-time champion having played no games. It's incredible.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with the spectator, by the way, guys.
Also, Johnny, you're forgetting. Guangzhou Charge have 2 Overwatch League champions on their team already with developer Molly. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
I can't take this guy.
You're underrating the Overwatch League champions that they have on their team.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was it that made the comment? It was like, I think Shanghai's bench is just a farm like bench for Guangzhou to take players from or something like that.
Let me
Oh no! Yeah, this
Mr.
is the rookie of the year for 2022. Just confirm.
Changing my mind. Rookie of the year for 2022 is going to be it's going to be I don't know, Backbone. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's go Backbone.
Fuck it.
Let's play to win.
Never seen him playing contenders before. I have no idea.
Pineapple. That's true. Pineapple has the best name in the Overwatch League now, so I'm just gonna hype Pineapple. I see. Here's the thing. I've heard Pineapple's actually sick as well, and I've seen it, and like
He is pretty good.
He's really good, but it's like I think Shy's incredible. So unless like
Yeah.
I don't see Shy not playing over Pineapple.
100%. Pineapple will only play for double hit scan, I think.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that is a good question. Someone actually just brought up. Do you know anything about Opener for the Washington Justice? I was
Yeah, I
looking
do.
at. Is he good? Like I was looking at his Wikipedia page, and it wasn't screaming anything good to me.
Yeah, I think he's I think the deal with opener for a team like Washington is that they're trying to do the whole skewed thing again. Opener could be like a diamond in the rough kind of player.
Oh wow.
He's good. Okay, he wouldn't be my number one pick. I'm not taking. He's not in my first, second, or third round draft or anything like that. But if you're looking for a value play, he might be one of those guys.
So because I was looking at it, I was like, oh, they'll probably just play Krillin Vigilante, right? But then I realized Vigilante
double flex.
Vigilante isn't 18 until like July 1st, so they got like a few months where they have to play opener and they have no backup, and that just sort of like scared me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean he will be a risk, but
Super Smurf, and dude, Super's done this shit for too long.
I'm not saying everybody's just going to be skewed, because that seems like a very unique situation for players that they almost a little bit lucked out on. You could call it half like incredible scouting, half
it was almost
like
a throw, right? Like they had some awkward matches in the first couple of stages.
Yeah, so I think Washington will be hoping that opener becomes more like a skewed type player, where like you're like, wow, no one knew he was this good.
Yo, Jundin.
But Vigilante will be expected to start when he's ready, and then we'll see if it's a double flex support meta or not, because Krillin, if it's not, there should be opener Vigilante, right? It wouldn't be Krillin playing. Vigilante is legitimately like unreal. Like after Finn, he's probably the next best flex support coming in.
You really? I'm excited. So what was that? Shock just 1-3-0 and goats. I don't know.
Yeah, with
I don't know why we're playing goats. I didn't realize we were gonna play goats.
Scoop on Ryan and Proper and Zari. I think it was cross that off the list.
Yeah. I feel like every time I watch goats these days, my brain just shuts down. I'm like, nah, not again. Not this.
I've deleted it from my brain. I can't. Every time I try and rewatch goats, I'm like, how did I cast this?
Yeah.
How did I even begin to watch this? I've completely wiped it from my memory because limited amount of storage space. I'm like, I just can't keep goats in there. It's gotta go.
I can't get rid of the Genji in 2017 meta, so I gotta. Sorry, goats, you gotta go.
So fond memories of 20. I actually do have fond memories of 2017 Genji. It was a good time.
Yeah. ABG, thank you for the 56 months, by the way. Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, we're playing not goats now, I think.
Dude, they are just throwing these back to back to back. We're gonna speed run. Do you know how many maps it is? Is it like match? Like is it?
I think it's 3 full matches. Oh, Super's off the
Oh,
map.
he got it. Yo, Super just got rolled. Look at his face. He's like, oh god.
Good reactions.
So now we got 2-2.
Now we're playing double shield, Doomfist Retreat. Oh my fucking god.
So did they just agree to it? They're playing certain metas, or certain comps? It looks like it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going back to the off season. Fuck this.
Yeah.
The off season. No, Johnny, you got to stay for the 5v5. Apparently they're doing 5v5.
Yeah, apparently after this one, they're doing workshop 5v5.
Not Overwatch 2. Not Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
Workshop.
Okay, nice.
They're playing their champ metas? Oh, that makes sense. Oh, okay, so they're saying the reason they're playing this comp is because this is what O2 Blast won with? That would make sense. And Shock won with goats. So
and then we don't know who won with 5v5. Could be anybody.
Yeah, it could be anyone. Who's going to be better? Find out next.
I mean, you must have been a fucking masochist designing this comp, but like, we're gonna play double shield with Lucio Moira. Like, who says that to themselves?
They're like,
Who says that?
The players are like, oh, great, this is fun. Shock won with this in 2019. Was
This
this
isn't
the
like even a real comp for. Oh, that was a nice cancel.
Was this their comp in
No one even
2019?
plays this comp like for real.
Oh shit!
Professionally, so it's just a weird look.
Oh, actually,
Also, what is double shield Lucio Moira? Like that doesn't even.
That was a nice rock by
Doesn't
Kilo.
even synergize.
Was that Max or Kilo's rock actually? Oh, that was Max.
I mean, I think this is just similar to Ghost. It's just like, we're gonna have so much shield, so much health, so much healing.
This, by the way,
Later.
if people are not convinced why we need 5v5, this is why we need 5v5.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this.
Double tank. Here's the question's gonna be, what's the first like comp that we play in Overwatch 2 5v5 that we're like, this is the worst thing ever? Like, is that gonna come quickly, or are we gonna?
Well,
is there gonna be a
it's
honeymoon
probably a new
period?
hero. Probably some new hero that's just gross.
Yeah, there's gonna be
That's probably
something.
what it is.
This is 2019.
I can't even
playoffs,
imagine
was
it'd be
it?
some
I
like
can't
new
remember.
hero design It'll be the dung slinger that Bren keeps talking about. It'll be that, and that just ruins the game.
A major advantage for them as the heels press them forwards to try and at least
Right after goats, yeah, right. I honestly don't remember the playoffs of 2019 very much at all.
I played some Overwatch 1 recently, and I just spent half the game shooting shields. I'm like, I can't wait for this not to be a thing in the future.
It's pretty good at high ranks. People don't like double. You get like raged at for playing double shield at high ranks. Everyone's just like, bro, no one wants to do this. Let's just play like Bull Zen Brig.
GA.
cancelled out though that rock. The accretion coming up huge.
The promised land.
Yeah.
That's Numenor. That's where Bilbo went. That's the promised land right there. Rest of us plebs are still on Middle Earth fighting the orcs.
The Shock haven't really found those amazing moments they did on map 1 to throw turn things in their favor. This looks like it
Give us a big boop. Give us a 3K boop right here.
No, I don't remember this. People are saying this was the 2019 playoffs meta, and I don't even remember that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was Lucio Moira.
Was it Lucio? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know. I don't remember Lucio Moira. I remember the Reaper Doom for sure. 100%, I do remember that, but I'm not too sure about the rest.
And there was some Bastion as well, I think.
Because didn't Shock play Dive every now and then? Or was that? Am I thinking of 2020? It's all melding together.
I forgot about 2019. I just don't want to remember that. Yeah,
it was more
that's,
Lucio.
that's in consideration of 2020 being COVID.
Violet just wants to play Lucio. Violet's just on that Lucio grind. I will say, if Violet puts a ton of work into Lucio, he's obviously a very talented player. He could get good enough to play it in the Overwatch League level, but he has to commit so much time to do it.
Oh, that boop. Oh, what's Aiden's team history? I think I really should know this, but
he truly has. Yeah.
Oh, isn't it O2 Blast?
So many environmental.
has he always been Ultra? I know. He must have been bench because I've never seen him play.
You get kills.
Team CC.
In the pace as well between what we've seen in both these teams as well.
And getting some crazy boops.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I...
The alt rotations I think was just fantastic there.
Yeah, it was really
He joined Team CC late.
Remember the Atlanta vs Shock upset? I just remember Moth's face along with everyone else.
I'm no one to ask because I really should be the one.
Everyone felt that emotion
No,
in
I'm
their
looking
soul.
up right now. Yeah, he did.
He did join late.
Oh,
Yeah, he
sorry,
joined
Team
late.
C. Yeah.
He joined late. Yeah, he didn't really play it. It was
Well, he looks so,
mostly
yeah,
Angle and
honestly, he looks sick.
watching it in the 2019 playoffs. A lot of it was about the Reapers getting.
Oh, yeah, there you go. They're showing it.
Like middle of the fight, they'd go on a bit of a flank.
Oh, it really is Lucio Moira.
Oh, that's when Architect had the Bastion play in the Chandelier as well. They were playing double shield and he got on the Chandelier.
Exactly. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to in the next one.
Fair enough.
Not looking as much towards like Kilo, for example, who's playing mega off-roll.
I tell you, man, as well. I mean,
This is the biggest problem that I've actually had going back and like trying to look at these players who are like coming into the league and watching their games. They're all playing like Lucio Moira Reaper shit, and it's like, well, it's really hard to get an understanding of how good a player is in those metas because it's just chaos in a way. Like they're just running at each other.
Should go watch Chinese Overwatch.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff. I was watching what game was I watching? Team Chaser versus Billy. Yeah, that was a
Final.
Good game. Yeah, it's such a good game.
How good is like Alpha Yi Pineapple?
Alpha Yi on that Echo, like just
Dude!
Oh,
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, like that play on Anubis I was watching it recently where he just like murders like the entire team. I was like, okay, cool.
This is how I like I know Johnny isn't capping when he's saying Guangzhou could be really good.
Yeah.
I've seen the talent on that team.
I feel like it's easy to sleep on them if you haven't watched those games, right? Because you don't think I think the people that don't, the thing that people don't realize about like Guangzhou and Hangzhou is like the additions that they made are going to be replacing a lot of the bad pieces that really plague those teams.
This is why people sleep on Philly as well because they're like, who are these rookies? They've never seen them play.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't watch Contenders, you don't know who they are. But
yeah, like MN3 Zest is like, well, what's Carpe gonna play? Right, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, where does Carpe fit this one?
MN3 Zest is good enough that Carpe is gonna be benched.
Yeah, like
people don't even understand that.
Well, it's like, is Carpe gonna play the hit scan or is he gonna go the Tracer? Because I think Carpe's biggest problem, biggest problem is it's like he was doing both, and so it felt like he was never that great at either, right? But we know he can play both, and I think he just needs to choose one of them, right? But like, would you say MN3 would usually go to the hit scan and then Carpe pick up the Tracer now, or?
Well, that's the problem is when MN3 and Zest play together, they both play Tracer depending on what you needed. They had that kind of perfect flex hit scan dynamic where both players actually had a very good Tracer, which means you didn't
Shock's
lose out.
kind of dominated.
So the opposite of the Chengdu problem where they just had like Leave plays Tracer and no one else can play it. it's probably so depending on the meta, either Zest or MN3 will probably play Tracer.
Yeah, which is interesting, right?
This footage, if you guys go to for the fans that actually want to see some POVs that are like from high level ranked in Korea, I think it's like Asia Overwatch highlights or something like that. They upload POVs of top 500 games from these rookies like Proper and MN3 and stuff and Zest. So those are pretty good watches.
Yeah, because I do find that like that's a hard problem. Is like I do like watching personal streams. I think like sometimes that's the best way to get like a view of like how good are they mechanically, right? When they're just like casually playing ranked. But yeah, I find it really hard with the Chinese players, right? For that exact reason.
Also, literally last
Why
year,
did we
everyone
play
all
the
the
worst
time
comps of the last few
was
years?
just
Yeah,
like, holy shit, no one picked up Super Rich. And now he's actually like going to go into the league, and no one talks about it.
Yeah. People just like Irony Super Rich is like banging, and people just aren't really like talking about it. Like,
Yeah, I don't think Irony is gonna be a liability to them.
yeah, like I think he's
Irony was
better than
good.
their previous flex supports that they've had though. Like from what I've seen.
That Billy team was legit.
Yeah.
So I mean, stacking your team with those Billy guys is a good call.
That was high tier gameplay.
I'm having
like,
issues. Yeah,
basically, that was, like,
I will
really high
apologize
level.
if you guys
Yeah, it is.
really want to pay attention to the game.
really
go
impressed
watch
by,
this.
like, how leveled
I
up
don't like
China
either of these
got.
metas, so I
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
care about the
Yeah,
gameplay right now
level
because it's the
really
exact same
impressive.
thing that I just talked about, where it's like with goats and that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna bang the
It's really
China
hard to
drum this
see
year.
and appreciate the value that people are getting because they're
always.
just bashing their heads against each other, right? We're just chilling and chatting, so I hope you guys are enjoying it.
I appreciate that. What a bit
Just some
of,
highlight plays, yeah.
someone on the
exactly.
disc has to, mate. Somebody on the disc has to.
Oh yeah. Custa can do Washington or something.
Yeah, I'll maybe
The
Mag.
opener drum.
Yeah, let's go opener.
Hey,
Delicious water. Ah, man.
Yeah, because I saw opener went to Australian contenders, and I'm like, mate, don't go there. That's
Yeah.
where careers go to die. Like, it's actually
Well, the
kind of
thing
crazy
is-
how many players have come out of there though. Like, Dreamer is a prime
That's
example.
true.
Maybe there's 20 more rounds. Who
That's
knows?
true. And some, I mean, Adam came out of there, and I think, dude, Adam's gonna be good. I don't like Florida is.
Watching two championship teams.
They're not gonna be a top 10 team, but Adam mechanically is great. So people got to get ready for that.
I was playing ranked with someone a couple of days ago. Dude, someone's Roadhog is broken. And I was like, bro, your Roadhog's so good. And he's like, look at ranked season 24 Korean ranked. He had rank 1 and rank 2 account on Roadhog in Korea in like season 24. And it's like,
Oh,
oh.
snap.
So he plays like a lot of Roadhog. And I'm like, well, that's actually like a big thing for main tank players going into Overwatch League. Because like Roadhog could easily just be like meta for like, you know, dumb reasons, as we all know Roadhog is, right?
A
So
really dumb reason.
yeah.
And it's not like a common, I think, hero for most
For-
tank
yeah.
players to like have, you know, specialist mastery over it. It's like it's a very fringe hero.
And, yeah, starting to get a
It'll be interesting to see like what is end up being the meta. Like, is main tank characters just gonna suck and off tanks are gonna be better? Like Sigma, D.Va, you know, like those Zaya. Are those gonna be
Actually-
better having those brawler off tanks, or is it gonna be better have like a tanky main tank?
I've got another thought as well. I think Johnny, you brought this up, but when you were
Doom
saying
tank
like
meta,
DPS
yeah.
players might go tank, if hypothetically, if this happens, if Doom actually becomes a tank, do you get like Doom DPS players just playing Doom tank? Like, does Sparkle just play tank then, or what? Because I could see that potentially happening.
I think it comes
maybe-
down to
I lead tank. It all comes back.
yo Guangzhou.
Guangzhou.
We got full circle. Oh, Johnny was right the whole
Yeah,
time.
Johnny knows.
He knew.
shut out at the choke point. O2 blast just
It'll be interesting. I think maybe initially people would do that shit, but I think over time, especially if there does need to be like switches between the tank players, like I don't want my Doomfist one tricks playing D.Va. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna be so outclassed. What is happening on my screen?
a bit of an overload there. The ultimate's just being dished out. The Shock want to commit a ton to the fight. I mean,
Troy
Can you imagine
develops.
you're a
Yeah.
tank player?
Death Blossom.
Your role is already been reduced, and then you get halfway through the league, and now DPSs are playing your role, and now tanks just don't play the game at all. God.
They're gonna be like,
sad state of Overwatch.
they're gonna say like, no one wants to play tanks. Fine, we'll take it away. No more tanks.
Now there's just no tanks.
Hydration missed his chance. Yeah, this is supposed to be Hydration's time to shine.
That's a 2-pick advantage for them.
Tanks bench for the Custa first.
I just realized they're
Yes.
playing old school best of 5 control. Damn.
Immediately. Yeah, and there was no opportunity.
Throwback.
There. I mean, like I was saying, you either want to kite that coalescence or go in and cancel it with a punch or with an accretion. But Hoy just got max value out of the call. And here we go.
I don't know. This
Blast just spawned.
Shock is just getting spawn camped right now.
So good.
Honestly, the synergy between the tank players, that's what I mean. The
Kilo,
Shock
yeah,
had a disadvantage.
Bren's right. Kilo does not play off tank. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
Like, he probably has no
I think
idea what
that's-
he's doing.
Yeah, like they're just like moving Sam and Kilo around.
Actual tank
Exactly,
players.
which is why I think you're
Max
seeing
Jumbo, no, they know exactly how to play this.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
when we move to 5v5. Not
What a
really
dodge.
the case for the
That was a
Shock,
great
yeah,
cold
looking
dodge.
off to the side here. Finn wants to try and lead his team.
Because he certainly doesn't get any kills. Yeah, but I do absorb a lot of bullets though, SoCon. That's the thing. That's my strength right there, baby. Oh.
I'm like
wow.
20% ahead of you, Scott.
All right. Yeah, I was like, what is Johnny talking about? And then I just saw a crazy death. Let me speed it up.
Yeah, I'm at 100%. The map just finished for me. What about you guys?
I'm speeding it up. I'm hitting.
I found out this off-season, because I was so bored, I found out you can speed it up on YouTube TV as well when you watch like sports.
Oh, really?
So when you watch NBA games on YouTube TV, you can speed it up. And I'm like,
Why is Violet
think about
still
all
not
these
on
YouTube
DPS?
TV
No,
people who have
just
no
let
idea
let
and are
Violet
watching
play
like their
Zen,
favorite
dude. That's
sports just
all I
1 minute
want.
behind their friends.
Just let Violet play what he's good at. I'm so sick of watching Violet not play flex support. I'm gonna say this as well. Like, I'm so sick of seeing Violet not on flex support. I just want to see him play Zen. Like, I feel like every time I've watched him in the last year, including this show match, he is not playing flex support. Like, just let the man play what he's good at.
Lucio
It's a bit
Moira
more
is
slow regarding that. Yeah,
higher
Lucio
tempo,
Moira, yeah,
for sure.
exactly. That back
Imagine if he just doesn't this entire season.
So if he ends up playing Lucio for the Shock this year, I'm
They
gonna
don't shock don't get another support play, and Violet literally becomes a main support player this year.
Yeah, the thing is, if he commits to it, he could probably be a good flex support player. He's a smart player. He's mechanically talented. He could probably be fine. But like,
You think? I think he's so selfish. I don't think it'd be. Oh, this is 5v5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're here. We're finally at 5v5.
I assume this is the workshop mode that like the people
is.
have been scrimming on. I haven't really
It
watched
is.
much of it because I think it's just kind of
all of these roles. You can see
stupid. Like I feel like it's hard to have these kind of like things without having a lot of the changes.
gonna start to see
'Cause, like,
brawliness, I
yeah.
think, that was bleeding through in the prior maps. You're gonna
Hey,
see
Gumbo worked hard on this workshop,
Oh yeah,
alright?
it's like it's cool for the like obviously for the players and the teams, it's important, right? What is that thing in the bottom?
Super Zarya on my eyes. Bottom where?
There was a thing under Super's.
gone down. Now Super moves his way forwards. He has two
Wait, am I crazy?
What?
You guys see that?
in this workshop
Wait, I'm going back for a second.
Overwatch 2, he's got a bubble
And it's gonna 5v5, and it's gonna give them
Like, what is that?
this kind of play.
So, okay, so for context for chat,
Bubble.
Proper and
Oh, it's his
Heesang
bubble
were, I
cooldown.
think, the top 2 Tracer players in Korea last year.
Wait, what?
In this workshop mode, which
Proper and Heesang were the top 2 Tracer players in Korea last year.
Including
They're both
Al?
playing Tracer now.
Including Al, or you're just saying just like the prospects?
Just
coming
in Korea. It's just
Yeah.
in Korea. Well, I guess it's Contenders Korea, but
Yeah. But he's saying underage, so it's all on Proper, right? I hope you're right, and that Proper is just sick, because I think there's been a continuous theme throughout the entire like league that these rookies are better than.
this replay.
You know, like I feel like in 2018, obviously we had a like that sort of like group come through, and 2019, a lot of teams tried to just like move around the players from 2018. But people are realizing if you pick up like rookie players, they generally perform better than like I guess your veteran players from other teams, and that's why I'm worried about like Toronto Defiant, right? Is like, are they going to be able to hang with these people who are putting up the best rookies coming into the season?
Back off the high ground. This high ground
yeah, I think Toronto have the best main support though. I don't know that main support is going to, well, it depends like how important it's going to be, but
You like
Toronto's
Harung
pretty nutty.
that much?
Toronto's really good. He's, yeah, I had my eye on him even before he was 18.
Yeah,
That
right.
sounds really bad and out of context, but you know what I mean. In terms of Overwatch professionally,
Yeah.
like I think I said what I say. I said he was looking like to me the
Caricature.
next Lee Jagon.
Arul, don't, hey, no clipping anything out of
Because
context,
like he's
chat.
just displaying like that caliber
cool.
of skill, even before he was eligible for L.
That's an interesting question though. Like, where do you rate a lot of the new main support? Because there's a lot of main supports coming into the league, right? Like, we got Churong, we got Vindame, we got Opener, I guess if you want to put him on the list. Like,
Right.
we got Chio. Like, is there anyone that like
Yeah.
stands out other than Churong to you?
Yeah, probably Chio. Chio was a starter on O2.
Super rich, yeah.
Chio, Dallas did well with that pickup. Chio is going to be better than Jexer for sure.
Yeah.
So that's an upgrade. I think Dallas have only upgraded and not downgraded in any position.
Yeah,
so
well, they got a hit scan, so you can't go down from there, right? Like,
yeah, they got a hit scan instead of 0. That's true.
yeah. So
Vindame is also good, but I think Chio should be better. It should be Chorong, Chio, Vindame opener.
yeah, okay, I can see that. We got a hit scan. We did it, but they lost Pine. We don't count Pine because he didn't play a minute.
That's brutal.
Oh, that's just bullying proper.
That is brutal.
Finn's Ana last year was also really crazy. So
Really? It'll be interesting to see like what gets played more, like Zen or Ana, because like talking about Violet, right? Like Violet. Oh wow, he's saying down. Violet just like doesn't play Ana. Is that like, you know, he ever since like, you know, the San Francisco Shock in 2020, like they played Architect on it, and then they had Twilight who like came in to play the Ana like recently. Like if Ana becomes meta in Overwatch 2, yeah, they're just gonna play Finn. Like I guess Finn will just be the Ana player, and then they play double flex. I guess Violet on the Zen, or God forbid Lucio.
Lucio, baby, Lucio Ana. Let's go.
What happened to Moth? He's still free
Is
agent. We
Violet
haven't heard
overrated?
anything about Moth.
Violet Mercy, let's go.
I'm gonna go on a hot take, hot question tirade. Is that how you say it? Tirade?
Tirade.
Heresies.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say absurd shit all the time. Get ready.
Did you know that Void is overrated? Remember what?
Absurd shit all the time.
Okay, well that was dumb. Okay, but there are some hot takes you can do which kind of have some credibility to them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And like even that Void one, it wasn't that bad. It was just so funny that it became so oppositely true, right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Also,
Yeah.
never mind. Can we just not talk about that?
Yeah, sorry, I won't bring
Johnny,
it up.
it's fine. Johnny, it's fine. No take will ever be as bad as when Wolf of Villainy said that Runaway wasn't our level. Okay, so when that's the bar, like it's impossible to have a worse take than that. So no one can ever have the worst take ever because it's already been decided.
I did that interview series with Yiska.
Yeah, I saw. I actually just saw that thing.
I watched that.
I have an episode or one like a part of it coming out tomorrow. I have a banging, fantastic take in that. I'm so excited.
Hangzhou Spark top 3. It's gonna be in the interview.
No, I mean that's out there. That's I believe it's true, and they're gonna be better than Soul.
Top 3 is.
I think they have the potential.
Is a gamble. Yeah.
Their roster quality has potential for it. So
their
I can see where
management
Johnny's
just
coming from.
it concerns me with their coaching and everything out. They've just always dropped the spaghetti.
I have faith in Gandalf.
You...
He's gonna lead the fellowship. He's gonna take the hobbits to Isengard.
This 5v5 gameplay is pretty solid. I think this is around what you should expect going into Overwatch 2, right? Like this kind of like faster pace, less shields. And that's the whole, like people like my tank synergy and that kind of stuff. Losing one tank just opens the game up so much, right? Like all of a sudden everyone has that freedom to just like move around the map a lot more. It's not as dependent on like all the healing and that kind of stuff.
The Reaper without speed next to a Tracer just confuses me.
Yeah,
but
just gotta TP in, man. You gotta.
Yeah, it's Reaper's actually does a lot of
TP.
damage now because they made his shotgun so much more consistent from mid range. Like there's some really good Reaper players on the ladder. I can't believe how quickly they fucking kill you, and they can actually 1v1 a Tracer pretty well.
Some of the damage that's being done.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's interesting.
Proper Tracer is clean. Yeah, no one's doubting that.
Comp here at any point. We started out with O2 Blast playing the Diva.
5v5 looks pog. Yeah, like 5v5, you should be excited for 5v5. Everything, like if you like the way this looks, this is what you should expect from Overwatch 2. Obviously, there's going to be some balancing. They have passives. They have shit that's going to change. Like we know like the basic news. But imagine this, but we also have like 5 more heroes. This is Overwatch 2. This is what you should be excited about,
AC
right?
from my chat says, ask Reinforce about his Smurf overrated take.
Smurf overrated take.
Yeah, did you? I don't know if you actually had one of those. Someone in my chat said that.
It's not like you have the other tank to try and back you up.
I wouldn't say that Smurf is overrated, but
we'll see what he can do. 2 fire strike charges, of course, as well. That's what he's got in his back.
I don't know. I guess I don't think
Johnny can't keep
Soul
taking
is gonna be as
respect.
good as people think. So I guess Smurf underperforms.
I agree.
Losing Jonak's a big deal, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge
What the fuck was that clip? That wasn't even close. What? I'm watching that back.
And you're probably ahead of me. Oh,
If you
was that-
wanted to
was
make
that
the
Prop-
Smurf take,
was
I
it-
guess you
was
say
it
that he
Proper-
hasn't played Ryan.
Proper, he's saying.
Yeah. Proper does that shit. That's some classic Proper stuff.
That was filthy.
Yeah, he does that.
Dunked on Heesang again.
Oh my god.
Such a good preview of what might be to come. I know, fan, and you're just watching Proper absolutely tear people's heads off.
Actually rolled.
My confidence for Proper comes from the fact that we've all seen Pelican, so my mind is like, well,
But do
You know,
you
how
think
can it- it
Pelican
can't go wrong?
improved after getting to Atlanta as time went on? Like, do you think he's in the same form he was when he was playing before
I
he
think
got into the
everybody
league?
improves.
Yeah,
everybody
but
improves.
that's what I'm saying is like, do you think there's a chance that like, so it's like Pelican was rookie of the year, but that was because of all the growth that he had within the league. So therefore, Proper might not have gotten that same level because you're going to get better playing against all the best players in the world in the Overwatch League. Maybe Proper stifled. Like, obviously, this is me just being devil's advocate.
How early do you think people started to latch onto Pelican Rookie of the Year? Like, at what point through the year?
I think it was around halfway. I don't
Really?
think he was that like remember in the front half of the season, but like before Unter, before they had that like before all that stuff, they were
Hunter kinda struggled, yeah.
They were kind of struggling, right? And like Pelican wasn't in that conversation. It was only after like Unter came in, and like even then, right? We got to remember Atlanta really only found success playing Brawl. Like not only, but that was where they got most of their success, especially in the playoffs. So it's like
Stage 2, I think, for me,
yeah, like
was when the conversation started.
and that's like what is that? That's like 3 months of scrimming against Overwatch League players. Like I'm not just grading Proper. I'm still in the hype train as well. But like I find it hard to like do those comparisons of like Proper was better than Pelican before the league, and then he could probably.
Oh, it's not a. To me, it's not about like, oh, was he better? It's more so that, you know, seeing Pelican develop into the Rookie of the Year gives me confidence that Proper can do the same thing.
Yeah,
'Cause
I feel that. I agree. Oh wow,
I think people always like, oh, but they haven't played against Overwatch League. Well, first of all, they have.
that was nice.
So what happened?
Okay, actually, let's move it on. I remember watching O2 Blast play, and I was like, in the grand finals, I thought Merit was better than Kilo on the hit scan. What do you think?
Yeah, but I think I think Hitscan was pretty poor. I think it was Sombra, wasn't it? When you talk about Hitscan, it was just Sombra.
No, like
and
they played a little bit of, I think it was Ashe, because they went back and forth playing the Ashe. I'm pretty sure in the finals.
It's not. It wasn't Kilo's best performance.
Yeah,
it definitely
okay.
wasn't. He's had better showings.
So do you believe that Kilo, like obviously they can be like equivalent, it's not a big deal, but if you had to pick one up for your roster and you had the option of Kilo or Merit, which one would you have gone for?
I've seen higher highs from Kilo.
Okay.
So is that one I want to go off of? Maybe. I don't know. I've been a bit of a weird one on Merit because I've seen too many fumbles from Merit. I'm not saying he does it all the time, but there's too many. I've seen one too many clown moments from Merit. I'm like, you can't have these clown moments in big matches. You know?
It's kind of like the Pine effect, right? Where it's like Pine used to pop off, but then he also used to have these games where he'd just like go missing and just like feed, like, and you gotta really limit those.
So you're talking about how Merit was like, he was pretty decent hit scan, right? So fun fact, when Merit was on Runaway and Proper was, obviously he was on O2 the whole time, and Runaway and O2 had a grand finals of Canada's career, and this was during heavy Ashe meta. Both Proper and Merit played Ashe. Proper fucking diff to Merit like nobody's business on Ashe. That's how good Proper is. So Proper does that on projectile hit scan. This is the thing. This is why I'm like so high on him, because when it was Ashe meta, he fucking destroyed Merit in the Ashe matchup. Like, it's not close.
It's funny. It kind of sounds like Lip in my, like, it sounds like the exact same thing, the way I think about Lip, of like Lip just came in and he's just beating everyone. He's just diffing everyone on all these different heroes.
Yeah.
Also, you can't understate how much better this 5v5. Like, you can't, people who are like, oh, I don't know about 5v5, we just watched 2 prominent metas from Overwatch 1 be played between these 2 teams, and I think I almost fell asleep. But then I watched this 5v5, and there's just so much cool shit happening. People are playing DPS heroes, people are moving around, people are 1v1ing, people are thinking, like, this is what you should be excited for going into Overwatch 2. Like, it should open the game up so much and just create these cooler moments.
People are making plays.
Yeah.
DPS are doing things. You're seeing mechanical highlights. It's not just 60% shooting shields.
Yeah.
Like I want to. My grey matter's seeping out of my ears because I'm just shooting shields the whole time. Like, God, you're actually seeing people do things in 5v5.
Yeah.
Probe, in fact, moved over to the Hanzo while all this was going on.
While Super moved over to Zarya.
It's genius, yeah. Like, it just, like, just taking that one tank
But
out.
granted, okay, last year's end of season, I actually did enjoy last year's 6v6 metas. They're far superior to those stupid goats double shield comps that we saw. In this. Okay, what happened?
He's saying just stuck proper. That was nasty.
He's playing Tracer, man.
That is mad. And
I need to speed up. You guys are like 5 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah, I just keep speeding up.
Oh, by the way, did you see that cool thing? Heesang tried to blink at a proper. Sorry,
yeah.
Proper tried to blink at a Heesang to try and kill Heesang's eyes. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Right, pulled out the word.
Oh, whatever. I'll just stay where I am.
I think as a support player, the thing that I'm most excited about as well is something that isn't talked about when you take a tank out of the game, is that when you take a tank out of the game, all of a sudden, as a support character, you don't just have to pick the character that heals the most, right? All of a sudden, support utility becomes more important because you don't need to put all this healing into tanks. It's one of the big problems with playing like Zen Brig, right? When you're playing like heavy tanks, is that you just don't have enough healing, so you have to switch back and just perma right click your tanks. You're like, so that's what I'm excited about as well. Like, it gives more utility and more control to supports.
Yeah, if you can find an individual pick.
That's the other thing why I'm also kind of big on Proper is because we're going into 5v5 where DPS will have more ability to just do things. And so, like, Unreal DPS players have far
less
more
pull for your
agency
team
to
so you
just
can
be
look at the enemy
crazy.
more. Exactly, right? Like,
So I'm also looking at that.
Picking the O2 blast supports, but just working up and
But it depends. Like, it's a team game at the end of the day. I think the problem... Look, I'm going to hype him because I feel like people should know he's good.
holy
But
propulsive, yeah.
I also know there's going to be a certain percentage of people where, let's say hypothetically, you know, they all go from Korea to NA. Proper's
I
never
hope they
been
give
outside
tanks more
Korea
culture.
before.
I
He's never
agree.
played on a mixed team before.
Make tanks sick.
Maybe the shock system doesn't work.
There's only
Maybe
one.
there's some logistical problem. Maybe he gets sick. Maybe something happens and shock don't play well and they just don't win. People are going to be just like, oh, Proper rookie of the year, what a joke. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, shit happens, you know? Shit happens.
It's like Shock last year, right? Like, people were like, oh, they were blaming like FD God and Nero and that kind of stuff. It's like the whole team was shit. Like, if your team is bad and playing poorly, you can't perform to that level. And that's like when you got to like talk about like, you know, when we're talking about the Shanghai Dragons, obviously they're all like tippity top, but it's like, how good are these players really, or are they just supported by the best players in the world, right? So it's like, can you say this player is the best in this role when they have the best team around you? There have been great players in the past, like, you know, let's go Prophet, for example, right? Who just haven't had that support system around them to be able to pop off to the same degree that a Flitter or a Fitz do, right?
Yeah. I've also, at the same time, though, I've seen... Here's the other thing that I think is a mark of a great player, like how clutch are you as well? When your team is clearly, and this is why I was so big on Leave, is like when your team has holes and weaknesses, how much can you individually fill those gaps and just force your team to win, even when you're behind, even when you're losing?
Yeah,
And I see Leave do that, and I see Proper do that, and that's why I'm like, oh my god, these guys are gods.
That's why Leave deserved MVP in my ass. Like, he just, like, people are like, oh, but these players were better on, you know, like, on the Shanghai Dragons. It's like, Leave was working with drastically less and somehow still putting up bonkers numbers and just, like, diffing everyone.
just benefits from all of these passive buffs.
Super the hog.
In the workshop.
When all else fails, go back to the origins.
Less of an ult sponge, 25%
Oh.
ult sponge.
Oh,
You landed. Oh, that's the
later,
other
proper.
thing.
Let's go, Hoy.
Hang on a second. Tanks with more HP, when you hook them, you're not like ruining other tanks as much as you used to
Yeah.
because of the greater HP.
Everyone has more health. Like, all the like with one tank, this is like my hope, is that when you have one tank, the biggest problem with tanks and why they couldn't butt them is if you put these two tanks together, it was like unstoppable, right? But if you have one tank, you can just make it sick, right? And just be like, there's only one of them, and they're not going to really get any tank support. Like, they can just move around as much. Like, I think that could be hella cool, and it would incentivize people to play tank as well, right?
Super just like hooks Max twice and just can barely touch him with damage.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Those tanks are so tanky.
It definitely does.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
What I think they should be doing is making tanks and support
Is that
more
it?
interesting.
Yeah.
I think so.
Shout out to AMPM and Shock.
Yeah. Thanks for letting us co-stream. That was fun.
Three players that you
The only, like, I'm not going to say I was hype on the goats of the double shield, but that 5v5, it was cool to see those players in, like, more of a scenario in which we're going to see them in the future.
Shock
Absolutely.
look like they are trying to win another championship.
They really do. They made all the right
I'm also really
decisions with that.
pleased with the fact that
Thank you very
Shock
much
actually
for watching,
picked up
everybody.
an academy team.
And we will see you
I don't know when
Yeah.
we're going to see O2 Blast again because Contenders is up in the air, but, you know, hopefully at some point. It's just cool to see academy teams again in general.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, sweet. There it is. That was fun.
Pog. Back
Pog
to the
champion.
off season.